Hello viewers, my name is Tericho and welcome to my channel where I explore, explain and expand upon the darkest worlds in video games. Today I want to talk about the ending of Little Nightmares 2. I'm going to explain what happened and why, which means there's going to be big spoilers in this video. You have been warned. But yeah, I want to talk about exactly what happened at the end of Little Nightmares 2. I'm going to give you what I think is the most logical explanation. I'm also going to talk about some of the theories around it and some of the other explanations. And I'll talk about why I don't think those are necessarily true. But like always, these aren't just my opinions. The Little Nightmares world is very mysterious. A lot of stuff we don't know what's going on. The developers did this on purpose. They left a lot of things ambiguous so that you can come up with your own explanations. And if they didn't do that, these games, in my opinion, wouldn't have been anywhere near as successful. So please don't think that I'm telling anyone that they're wrong, or that if you have a different idea to me that you're wrong. I'm just giving you what I think is the most logical explanation. So what exactly happened at the end of Little Nightmares 2? Well, we see at the end of Little Nightmares 2 that Mono rescues Six from the signal tower, he destroys the music box, Six reverts from her monstrous form back into her normal form, and then the two try to escape, but this giant wall of eyes tries to stop them, and they just about manage to outrun them before Six drops Mono. Now, I have actually made a previous part of this video explaining exactly what the eye monster is. And if you haven't watched that video, I'll leave a card up in the top if you want to go watch it. But that is really relevant to this video, so I'll kind of recap it in this video for you. But essentially we see Six takes the choice to drop Mono rather than pull him up and save him, and then she walks away. And then after that, in the secret ending, very shortly after that, we see that Dark Six appears and she gets the hunger. Now, a lot of people think that Six dropped Mono because, and this is a great theory, I love this theory by the way, but I'm about to debunk it. A lot of people think that Six dropped Mono because she knew she was getting the hunger and she didn't want to eat him basically, so she dropped him as some form of mercy drop. And I think a lot of people like this theory because it puts Six back as a good guy, if you will, which I don't really think anybody in this world is good or bad necessarily. I think everybody's a bit of both. But I don't think that's true. And the reason why I don't think that is true is because whenever we see Six get the hunger, and I have explained the hunger in a different video, so go and check that one out on the channel if you don't understand what the hunger is. But when Six experiences the hunger, she is in massive pain. She bends over, she starts to cough, she bends over hunched in pain. And when you're controlling her in Little Nightmares 1, she moves slowly because she is weak. She's weak and in pain. And we don't see any of these symptoms in this moment. We don't see her weak, we don't see her slow, we don't see her hunched over, we don't see any of that, which to me implies that this wasn't related to the hunger. Now, yes, she does get the hunger very shortly afterwards, and some people have said, well, maybe she knew that she was about to get hungry, but we've never seen her be hungry before now, and we've never seen her experience any of the symptoms, but we always see her experience those symptoms when she gets the hunger. So I don't think it was personally the hunger. I actually think there is a very easy explanation as to why Six dropped Mono, and I'm going to explain that right now. So, like I said in my previous video, the eye monster is made up of the viewers who end up getting absorbed into the TVs, brought into the signal tower, and they end up this big, massive flesh eye thing. But it chases Mono and Six, who are together at the end of the game. I don't think it was really chasing Six. I think that the eye monster was only chasing Mono. And the reason why I think that, because we know that the eye monster is made up of the viewers, we know that the viewers want one thing and one thing only. They want to watch the signal. They want to watch the signal so much that they will literally die to get to it. They will fall off a building, or they will sit in a bathtub with a TV, risking their lives to watch the signal. That is how obsessed with the signal they are. And secondly, once Six does drop Mono, we see that the eye monster surrounds him, but then it stops. It doesn't eat him, it doesn't kill him, it doesn't squish him. It stops, it pulls back, and it settles, and it sits, and it watches. That's because, in my opinion, Mono is the signal. Mono is either the source of the signal, which would make sense because the signal comes from the signal tower, and we know that Mono is trapped in the signal tower as the Thin Man, and he has powers. So either he is the signal or he is channeling the signal. Either one still makes sense in this explanation. But also we see that Mono can use the TVs, he can travel through them, which makes sense because what does a TV do? A TV just sends a signal from one place, the studio, to your living room. That's all a TV does. It brings you a signal and converts it into an image. That's all a TV does. And Mono can go through the TV because he is made of signal. This is why whenever he interacts with the TV, he becomes translucent. He starts to flicker like a TV signal because he is one. So the viewers want desperately to watch him, which is interesting because when they're watching the TV signal, they're watching the Thin Man TV signal while Mono's nearby, which also explains when you get caught by them, by the way, that they start to sort of absorb you, because as I've said previously, the viewers want to absorb the TV signal. They are absorbed in the television and they do the same thing to Mono. So knowing that, the eyes will chase Mono. They will chase Mono wherever he goes. Literally to their deaths if they have to, they will chase Mono. 6 realizes this. When they're being chased, I think 6 puts 2 and 2 together. Every time we see Mono use the TV, 6 drags him out. She has this look of almost curiosity or maybe fear or maybe a little mixture of both. But she definitely knows that Mono's not normal. She's not looking at him like he's a normal child. She's giving him the look. And I think this was 6 really understanding that there was something special about Mono. Now, at the end of the game, she sees his face. And I don't think it's necessarily his face that she recognized, but I think that when she saw the eyes desperately chasing Mono and 6, and then when Mono is hanging over the ledge, the eye monster is still sort of going for him, not really her. I think she realized that the eye monster will never stop chasing Mono because it's desperate to watch the signal. Now, if Mono and 6 left the signal tower, it's possible that that eye monster would have followed them. We know that things can leave the signal tower. We've seen Mono do it. We've seen 6 do it. So we know that things can leave the signal tower. So it's entirely possible that the eye monster would leave. And also remember, 6 doesn't have all the knowledge that we have. We don't know exactly how much 6 understands in this world. So she could be very afraid that if they leave, the eye monster will follow. And this is why she drops Mono. She drops Mono because she knows that if she brings him with him, the eye monster will chase them both and they'll both end up trapped. So I've talked about the other explanations for why 6 drops Mono, but I do think that Occam's razor applies here. Occam's razor is the simplest explanation, is the most likely. And I think the simplest explanation here is that 6 understands that the eye monster will continue to chase the signal for all of time. And she knows that. Now, to take this one step further though, we can also look at the timeline of Little Nightmares 2. A lot of people consider Little Nightmares 2 to be in a time loop, and I've talked previously how about I think it's broken time. We see that the physics in the signal tower don't work properly and time is a construct of physics, but either way you think about it, it's kind of a trap, right? Mono gets trapped at the end of Little Nightmares 2. He's trapped in there until he grows up as the Thin Man. He's only released once the new Mono comes along and lets him open. So in that way, I guess you could call it a loop. But either way, Mono ends up trapped. And I do think that if 6 were to stay with him, she would end up trapped too. And I think she knows this, possibly because she's done this before. Maybe she's gone through this loop before, or maybe she's had this experience before. But even if not, I think 6 understands that the only way she can escape the Pale City, where the corruption of the signal is the strongest, is to leave the signal behind. Leaving Mono in the signal tower basically gave her a chance to escape him, which I don't think necessarily she wanted to do. And if you look when she drops him, she has this moment of contemplation. She doesn't just do it like she was going to do it all along. She looks like she's about to pull him up, but then she drops him and she walks away really slowly, really solemnly, which I do think marks the transformation of 6 into a little monster. But I also think it's something that she did out of survival. The whole time we've seen 6 in any of the game, her base characteristic is she's a survivor. She's very scrappy. She will do anything it takes to survive. But if we want to go really conspiracy theory, if we want to really go into it, there could be some redemption for 6. Like I said earlier, we saw that 6 looked at Mono whenever he interacted with the TV, like she was curious, like she was surprised. She was kind of shocked that he had this power. And at the end of Little Nightmares 2, at the secret ending, we see that Dark 6 appears and points to the Maw. Now we know that 6 knows there is power in the world. But I do think that 6 was seeking power by going to the Maw. She goes to the Maw because she knows, because Dark 6 told her, that there was somebody there with power. If she goes there, she could take that power for herself. Now, why does she want that power? We're talking about the lady's power, of course. Why does she want that power? Does she want that power for herself to survive? Probably. What if Six wants that power so that she can come back and rescue Mono? This is complete conjecture, this is just complete theory, but what if Six wants that power so she can come back and rescue Mono like Mono rescued her? Because think about it, there's no way that Six can rescue Mono. It's just not possible. There's no way. You should have to beat the signal tower, and there's no way for her to beat the signal tower. And Mono can beat the signal tower, but he can't leave because the eye monster won't let him. The viewers will not let him leave. So what if she gets the power and comes back to the Pale City, and she beats the eye monster with that power she has, and she finally lets him go? It would be a really nice happy ending, which means it's probably never going to happen, but maybe that was her intention. Maybe her intention to go to the moor was so that she could get the power, not only to protect herself, but maybe to beat the monster that took her friend. I don't know, that was just a nice little additional theory that I thought of while I was making this video. Have what you will from that one. But that's why I think that Six dropped Mono. I think the most simplest explanation is that she understood that that eye monster would just continue hunting and hunting and hunting until it got to Mono. And if Six and Mono were together, that means that she would get trapped too. And we know there's one thing about Six. Six does not like being trapped. Ever since she is freed from the basement in Little Nightmares 2, she does not like being trapped whatsoever. She will do anything possible to stay free and to stay alive. So there we have it, that's my explanation for the ending of Little Nightmares 2. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider subscribing if you haven't already. Leave the video a like and let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts are on the ending of Little Nightmares 2. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.